Hi everyone, this is Arohi from Pipefit Technologies, and today I'll explain about optimizers. So I want to start this video by telling where we need optimizers. First of all, we'll understand the need of optimizers, and then I'll tell you what is optimizer, right? I'll also explain the maths behind it. I'll talk about different optimizers and what is the difference between them, and finally I'll explain you when to use which particular optimizer. So the very first thing is, as I've just told you, where we need optimizers. So we need optimizer to reduce the error. See, whenever we train our network, while training our network, we define loss function so that we can measure the difference between the actual value, actual output, and the predicted output. And our main goal is to reduce the error. So, why we want to know the difference between actual output and the predicted output? Because on the basis of that, we will reduce the error, right? And we can reduce the error by choosing a optimized value of weights, right? By choosing the right value of weight, our algorithm will give better results and accuracy will improve. So what is the role of optimizers? See, optimizer update the weight parameter to minimize the loss or error. So what we are basically looking for is a certain set of weights with which the neural network can make accurate predictions. And when our algorithm is giving accurate results, that automatically means loss value is decreased. So loss function, this error function, basically act as a guide by telling our optimizer if it is moving in a right direction or not to reach at a global minima. So what is this global minima? See, global minima means the point where the loss is minimum, point where the loss is at the least possible value. So there are different kind of optimizers, but the goal of every optimizer is to reach the global minima where the loss function is having the least possible value. So, in my today's tutorial, I'll talk about gradient descent optimizer. I'll talk about stochastic gradient descent optimizer. Then I'll discuss about mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer. And finally, I'll show you the maths behind for every, optimizer. And I'll tell you when to use which particular optimizer. So let's start with gradient descent optimizer. So, gradient descent optimizer. See, to minimize a neural network loss, an algorithm called backpropagation is used. Backpropagation calculates the derivative of the loss function with respect to the weight in the network. In other words, we can say that it finds the direction in which to update the weight so that the model will perform better. This direction, the direction in which we want to update the weight, this direction is called network's gradient. So before updating the model weight with the gradient is also multiplied by a learning rate. So I'll explain about learning rate in some time. So for now, just understand whenever we want to update the model weight, we multiply those model weight with some learning rate. And a good optimizer trains a model fast. So, gradient descent optimizer. So, see, whenever we use any algorithm, what we does, if I talk about back propagation also, so what we does is there are two passes. One is forward pass and second one is backward pass. What we does in forward pass? So, forward pass simply means we provide input to our network, then layer by layer our input will travel and finally will calculate the predicted Y value. Prediction means the predicted output, and the difference, then we calculate the difference between the actual Y value and the predicted Y value. That difference simply means we are calculating the loss. So this is the loss function which we calculate. Means the formula for calculating loss in gradient descent optimizer is this. This is the formula which gradient descent optimizer use. So this is summation I equals to 1 to n. So I is equal to 1 to n simply means gradient descent optimizer will will take care of all the data points of your data set on the basis of the calculation of all data points in your data set. It will finally calculate the loss, and this y is a actual y value and this y hat is a predicted y value and whole square, right? So suppose if your data set have 20,000 records, so gradient descent optimizer will go through, will see all the, will process all the 20,000 records, and then it will calculate the loss. So once we have calculated the loss, the next thing is we want to update the weight now. So the weight updation formula of gradient descent optimizer is this. So new weight means the updated weight. If you want to calculate the new weight, then how we can do that? Old weight means the initial weight, right? So the old weight minus n is a learning rate. If you remember, I've just told you that whenever we want to update the gradients, whenever we want to update the weight, we always multiply it with a learning rate, right? So this is that learning rate. And dl by dw old. dl means derivative of loss. So we have calculated a loss over here. Derivative of loss by derivative of old weight, this old weight, right? So old weight minus learning rate into derivative of loss by derivative of old weight. So this is the formula when we want to calculate, when we want to update a weight. So this formula we follow. So over here, this dl by dw, this dl by dw is a basically gradient descent. So we are talking about gradient descent optimizer, right? What is that gradient descent technique actually? So this is the gradient descent technique. What is it? We are calculating over here the derivative of loss with respect to the derivative of weight, and we are calculating this derivative of loss with respect to the old weight on the basis of whole data set, right? And this particular process, this dl by dw, this is a gradient descent technique, right, which we are using. So this is what gradient descent optimizer is. See, right now I'm just discussing about the formula. In some time I'll explain all these terms in more detail, right? So uh, clear about gradient descent? Gradient descent, see, one thing which you need to take care, which you need to remember is gradient descent will, you know, calculate this derivative of loss with respect to derivative of this weight on the basis of your whole data set. It will consider all the data points of your data set. Now, what happened in stochastic gradient descent optimizer? See, the weight updation formula is same in stochastic gradient descent optimizer. See over here. W new, this is a new weight. How we can calculate the new weight? By, we need old weight minus n is a learning rate, dl by dw. So this is the same formula, but there is only one difference which you need to take care is this dl by dw, this derivative of loss with respect to derivative of weight. Over here we are calculating this derivative of loss with respect to derivative of weight on the basis of single record. Means what we are doing over here is, means in every epoch it will take only one record and will calculate the prediction, means will calculate the predicted y value, and then it will go in backward direction. As I've just told you, this is a back propagation algorithm, and we have forward pass and backward pass. In forward pass we pass input to the network, and then it move layer by layer, and finally we calculate the output and we calculate loss. After calculating loss, we are, you know, using the backward pass, right? So I'm talking about that backward pass over here. So in backward pass, it is considering only one record in every epoch, and it will calculate the prediction, it will calculate the predicted y value, and on the basis of that predicted y value and after calculating the loss, means it will update the weight. So in gradient descent optimizer, we are updating a weight on the basis of whole data set, and in stochastic gradient descent optimizer, we are updating a weight on the basis of one record at a time. Means we'll calculate the loss for one record, and on the basis of that particular loss we will calculate, we will, sorry, update the weight, right? So this is the only difference between gradient descent optimizer and stochastic gradient descent optimizer. So now as I've just shown you, like this is the formula for loss calculation if you're using gradient descent optimizer. Then what is the formula for loss calculation of stochastic gradient descent optimizer if we are using single record? The only difference is we are not using that summation part because we are working on only a single record. So that means actual y and the predicted y whole square. This will give you a loss function. This will give you a difference between the actual y value and the predicted y value. So why we are not using summation over here? Because we are not working on a sample of data or on a whole data set. We are updating a weight on the basis of single record. So summation part is not required over here, right? So clear about a stochastic gradient descent optimizer and gradient descent optimizer. The only difference is in SGD we are updating a weight on the basis of one record, and on gradient descent optimizer we are considering all the data points and we are calculating loss on the basis of all data points and we are updating weight on the basis of that. Now, let's talk about mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer. So in mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, see, this is a stochastic gradient descent optimizer only. The only difference is over here we are not updating the weights on the basis of a single record. We are not even using the whole data set to update the weight. What we are using over here is a batch, a sample of data, right? So you'll see the loss function. See this loss function. Summation I equals to 1 and it will go up to b. So b over here is a batch size. Let's suppose you're giving batch size is equal to 100. So I value will start from 1 and it will go up to 100. On the basis of those 100 data points, right, it will calculate the loss function. So what we are basically doing over here, we are using a sample of data set. So where we normally use mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, suppose you have a huge data set, right, a very big data set, million of records were there, and you want to use stochastic gradient descent optimizer. You don't want to use gradient descent optimizer because if you are using gradient descent optimizer, then we need more computation, processing time will be more because gradient descent optimizer update the weight on the basis of whole data set, and if your data set is large it will take so much time to calculate, process, the computation will be more. So what we want is, but in stochastic gradient descent optimizer, weights get updated on the basis of single record only. We don't want to use stochastic gradient also, and we don't want to use, the gradient descent optimizer. So the solution over here is, what we can do, we can divide our data into small batches and we can pass those batches one by one and we can calculate the loss on the basis of that. So this is what I'm doing over here. I equals to 1, it will go up to a batch size. So if your batch size is 100, so I will go from 1 to 100, and on the basis of those 100 value it will calculate the loss. So once loss get calculated, the weight updation formula is same. So if you remember, in gradient descent optimizer, in stochastic gradient descent optimizer, and in mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, the weight updation formula is same. The only difference is the derivative of loss with respect to this derivative of weight. In gradient descent optimizer, we are calculating this on the basis of whole data set, right? And in stochastic gradient descent optimizer we are calculating this derivative of loss with respect to derivative of weight on the basis of single record. And in mini batch stochastic gradient optimizer, we are calculating this derivative of loss with respect to derivative of weight on the basis of some sample of a data set. So this is the difference between these three optimizers. Now, let me show you mathematically. I've given you a basic idea like what is the main difference between these three optimizers. Now, I'll show you the whole thing by using a practical example. So, suppose we have calculated a error. See, I'm not showing you the code for the forward pass of back propagation. Over here, what I'm showing you is after applying forward pass, we already have an error. Assume we already have an error, and now we want to update the weight in the backward pass, right? So look at over here. This derivative of E total by derivative of W5. So what we are trying to say over here is, consider this picture. Please look at this picture. This E total means error, means the loss, right? Error, loss and cost all are the same things. So this total error, E total, is dependent on this out over 1. This out over 1 is dependent on net over 1, and this net over 1 is dependent on W5. Wait, see, I am showing you how to solve it by using only one weight. The same procedure we have to follow for all the weights, right? But over here I'm showing you how to update W5 weight, right? On when we have this error. So means we want to this is the derivative of error, with this is a derivative of W5. So over here you can see this error is not directly dependent on W5, but it is indirectly dependent on W5. So can we write like this? E total by W5 can be, divided in a part, and can we write like this? E total by derivative of E total by derivative of out over 1, derivative of out over 1 by derivative of net over 1, derivative of net over 1 by derivative of W5, and we are multiplying all these components together. And when we multiply all these components together, we'll get this derivative of E total by derivative of W5. So this is basically a chain rule of calculus which we are following over here. So let's move forward. See, the very first thing which comes in our mind while updating a weight is, suppose the weight value is somewhere over here, the initial weight value. See, whenever we want to update the weight, initially we give some weight value, right? And then we calculate the output, and on the basis of the error we update the weight. So suppose the initial value is somewhere over here, right? So if you'll see this parabola curve, this position, this is a global minima. Global minima means where error is least possible value. So this is the least possible value of error. So on x-axis we have weights, and on y-axis we have error. So means when the weight value is 2, at that particular point we have minimum error, right? And our target is to reach at this global minima. So this is why we are using optimizers, to reach at this global minima point. Suppose the initial point, the initial value of W5, which I've just shown you, the initial value of W5 is somewhere over here, right? So how we know that we have to, means let's suppose if the initial value is over here, then we know that optimal point is over here. So that means we have to move towards right, then only we'll reach at this optimal point. And let's assume if the initial value of W5 is somewhere over here, then we know that we need to move towards left side, then only we'll reach the minimal point, this optimal point. So now over here, the main thing is, how do we know that we have to move right or left while updating a weight, right? If initial point is here, then we have to move in right direction. And if initial value of weight is somewhere over here, then we have to move in this direction. But the question is, how do we know that in which direction we need to move? So I'll show you that, like in which direction we have to move, we need to move in which direction while updating a weight mathematically. Then you can easily solve, you can easily find like in which particular direction to move. So stay, connected with the video. So basically, so if you want to know in which particular direction we need to move to update our weight so that we can reach the optimal point, so for that we need to calculate the derivative of loss with respect to the derivative of weight, right? So as we have discussed this about few last slides, we have discussed like we will be calculating the derivative of loss with respect to the derivative of weight. If you'll calculate this by knowing this, if you are calculating derivative of loss with respect to derivative of weight, then you can know the direction, in which direction to move, right? Let me explain you this, why we need to calculate this derivative of loss with respect to the derivative of weight. See, basically the thing is, error is a function of inputs and weights, right? So error is a function of inputs and weights. Because once you get the error, and suppose if we change the weights or input values, then the actual value will be changed, and so does the error, right? Means if we'll change the input value, and if you change the weight value, then obviously the actual output value will also get changed. And if the output is changing, that means error will also change. So essentially, what I'm trying to say over here is that error is a function of weight. So that's why we are taking derivative of error with respect to derivative of weights. So in this condition, we are calculating a derivative of error with respect to a derivative of W5. So, so Okay, so derivative simply means, see, we are talking about derivative, right? From last few slides. So what derivative simply says? So derivative simply says what is the change in dependent variable when there is a change in independent variable. So if we'll see over here, assume x is an independent variable and y is a dependent variable. So this is x-axis. X is a independent variable and y is a dependent variable. And we can also say that y is a function of x, because y is a dependent variable and it is dependent on x. So y is a function of x, right? So this delta means change. Delta x and delta y. What we are saying is, if there is a change in x, then what would be the change in y? So suppose if x value is here, this is the x value right now. At that time, the y value is this. And then we have changed the value of x little bit, right? Slightly I've changed the value of x. This green line is a changed value of x. So previously the x value is orange one. Now this is new x value of this. So this is a change. We have changed the value of x with a slight, number. So this is a delta x, change in x. So if there is a slight, we have changed the value of x slightly, then this is the change in y, means this is a delta y, right? Means when we have changed the value of x, this is the change in y. So delta y means change in x. This change in y by change in x is this is called approximation, right? Is approximately equal to derivative of y by derivative of x, right? So now I'll show you a proper math equation. In this equation, by solving this equation, we can finally know like in which direction to move when we want to update the weight, right? Now see this image. So here we have two scenarios. This O is the optimal point and W star is the weight which is associated with this optimal point. Means if you want to reach at this optimal point, then this should be the weight, then only we'll be reaching at this optimal point, right? So over here we have two scenarios. Either we are on the left of this optimal point, means A and B are the two points which are on the left of the optimal point, means this is one scenario. Either we are on the left of optimal point or we are on the right of the optimal point. That means the initial value of weight, right, initial value of weight which I choose could be to the left of the optimal point or it could be the right of the optimal point. And over here we have four different points, A, B, C and D. So these are the four different points. See, I took this image just to make you understand the concept, like how to decide in which direction to move while updating the weights. So in this case, I have taken 2 points on the left of the optimal point and I have took 2 points on the right of the optimal point. So now we have 4 points, means these are the 4 points. I'll explain you. Means if the initial value is at A, I'll explain you now. See, at A point, what are the coordinates associated with this A? When the initial value of weight is A, at that time we have weight as W1 and let's assume it as error at W1. Okay, in this way we are having error. So the coordinates which are associated with B, W2 is the weight associated with B, and over here error at W2. Error at W2 is the error at point B. In the same way, we have weights and their associated errors at those particular points, right? So let's start. Okay, so suppose the initial point of weight I have chosen is A. So I'll show you the example with A first. Means I'll show you how to solve. If you are on the left side, then how to solve. So suppose if the initial point of weight is I have chosen is A, which is left to the optimal point. So this is the worst possibility. So now what we want to do is we want to calculate the error with respect to weight at point A. So if we calculate, if we calculate this means if we find out that error at W2 minus error at W1 divided by weight 2 minus weight 1. So I'll get the approximate value for derivative dE by dW, right? So means if you'll solve this, if you'll find out what is the error value of W2, if you'll subtract the value of W1, error of W1 from error of W2 divided by weight 2 minus weight 1, we'll get the approximate value of this derivative of error with respect to derivative of this weight. Okay. So if you'll see this image over here, error of W2 means this is W2. So error associated with this W2 is this error of W2. Error of W2 is less than error of W1. So this is W1. So error associated with W1 is here, error of W1, and this is error of W2. This error of W2 is smaller than error of W1, right? And we also know that this W2 is greater than W1. See, W1 is here and W2 is here. So values get increased in this way. So W2 is greater than W1. So basically, what I'm trying to say over here is our numerator is negative and denominator is positive. Means numerator is negative and denominator is positive. That means dE by dW is less than 0. Why this is less than 0? Because when we solve this, we get negative value on the top and positive value on the bottom. So if you divide negative value with the positive value, then result would be a negative value. That means derivative is a negative value. So this is the weight updation formula. So now we know that the value is a negative value, right? So now this is the formula by which we update a weight, Wt plus 1. This is means a new weight. We want to updated weight. We want to T plus 1 means we want to calculate a updated weight. And how we can calculate the updated weight? By this is a previous weight. Wt is a previous weight minus n is a learning rate, dE by dW. dE by dW, we just know that this is a negative value because numerator is negative and denominator is positive. When we divide negative value with positive value, we'll get the negative value only. So remember, this dE by dW is a negative value and n is always a positive value, right? And in formula, we have negative over here. So learning rate is always positive and dE by dW is a negative number. So here this negative and we have dE by dW is also negative. So two negative, both negatives will give us a positive value. Getting my point? dE by dW is a negative value and one negative is here. When we combine both negatives, what we will get? Positive value. That means we are adding positive value to Wt to update our weight, right? This is important to understand. This negative and dE by dW is also negative. We are combining both the negative, we are getting positive number. That simply means we are adding a positive value in WT to update the weight, right? So that means we are moving toward the right. So if we are adding positive value, that means we are moving toward the right, which is good, as we are moving toward the global minima. This is the global minima, and we are, moving in right direction only. So we are going in the right direction. So this is the global minima. So that means when we are we have applied this weight updation formula, and by applying this weight updation formula, if dE by dW, derivative of error with respect to derivative of weight, is a negative value, and we are applying this weight updation formula, and our formula is telling us to move in a right direction to reach at a global minimum, right? So this is the scenario when we were on the left side. Now let's, this side in this code, I'm explaining the code, what will be happen, what will be the case if we are on the right side, right? So now the second scenario is our initial weight value is right on the is on the right optimal point, right? So here we are calculating the error with respect to weight at point C. We are calculating error with respect to weight at point C. So if we calculate this, means if we find out error at W4 minus error at W3. So what is at W4? This is W4. So error at W4 is somewhere over here, and minus error at W3, which is somewhere over here, right? So W4 is greater and W3 is smaller. Error of W4 minus error of W3 divided by W4 minus W3. W4 minus W3. So then I will get the approximate value of this, right? Then we'll get the approximate value of derivative of error by derivative of weight. So now we want to know that if we change the weight value slightly, means the delta W, if we change the weight value slightly, then what would be the change in error of W? So from this image, as I've just told you, that error of W4 is greater than error of W3. Error at W4 is greater than error of W3, and W4 is also greater than W3, right? So that means derivative of error with respect to derivative of weight is greater than 0. See, over here derivative is negative because numerator is negative. We are getting negative value from error of W2 minus error of W1, and below we are getting positive value. But over here on the numerator also we are getting positive value, and denominator also we are getting positive value. That means derivative of error by derivative of weight is greater than 0. So now numerator and denominator are positive. So if we divide a positive value with a positive value, positive number, you'll get positive only. So that means dE by dW is a positive. That means greater than 0. So if we use the same weight updation formula over here, see, I'm using the same weight updation formula which I've used over here. Then dE by dW is positive, and over here we are having negative. Positive and negative will become negative. That means we will reduce the value of W t plus 1. Means over here we'll be adding, that will be a negative value. Over here we are adding a positive value, right? But on this side we are adding a negative value. Why? Because dE by dW is a positive value, and this is positive, and we have negative over here. Positive and negative will become negative. That means we are going in left direction, right? We are going in left, which is again good, because our optimal point is, if we are somewhere over here and our optimal point is on left, as you can see in this image. So that means we are going towards the global minima, which is on the left of these two weights. So we can say that by using this weight updation formula, the weight updation formula which we have used here and used here, this is the same formula. By using this weight updation formula, we are moving toward the global minima, whether we are on the left side or whether we are on the right side of the global minima. And this is the formula which I've just shown you in gradient descent optimizer and stochastic gradient descent optimizer. Let me show you again. See, this is the weight updation formula which we are using in every. Over here also we are using the same weight updation formula. In gradient descent optimizer also we are using the same weight updation formula. With the help of this weight updation formula, we'll get to know whether the new weight, the next weight, the updated weight should be a positive number or a negative number. I hope this is clear, right? Now, let's talk about the problem which we can face in every different optimizer. So today we have studied three type of different optimizer: gradient descent optimizer, stochastic gradient descent optimizer, and mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer. See, if you'll see this first picture is of gradient descent optimizer. So you can see over here that our weight is updating very nicely. We are reaching at an optimal point very quickly and nicely. So why this is so? Because in gradient descent optimizer, we are updating a weight after considering all the data points. Means on the basis of full data set, we are calculating loss and we are updating the formula. So we are reaching at an optimal point quickly and more accurately. So so what will be the problem over here? See, we'll get good results over here, but the problem is, if you want to run gradient descent optimizer, then you need more resources because computation is more. Suppose you have 10 million records, so you are updating your weight after processing 10 million records, right? So we need more RAM and more computation in every sense. So if we talk about mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, see, you'll reach the grade this global minima difficulties. We reach this global minima with difficulties. You can see over here zigzag path, right? See, convergence will not happen quickly because we are just using a sample of data set. So if you remember this mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, we are just using the sample. We are creating batches, and on the basis of that batch, means we'll give one batch to our algorithm, and on the basis of that one batch, it will calculate the loss and will update the weight. So you can see this zigzag path over here. So over here convergence will be difficult, right? But we need less resources. We can manage working with this mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer when you're not having very much good resources. So when resources are less, then you can use mini batch stochastic gradient descent optimizer, right? So it but the problem is resources. We need less resources over here, but this will be a zigzag path. Convergence will not that easy, right? And in gradient descent, convergence is easy, but we need more computation because we are updating the weight after going through the whole data set, right? So if we talk about this global minima, see this proper parabola curve, this is the global minima. We want to reach it over here, and with gradient descent optimizer we can come smoothly over here. But as I've just shown you, with stochastic gradient descent optimizer, our weight is sometime it is here, then next weight is here, third weight is here, next weight is here. Weight this we are getting this kind of it will follow this path to reach at this global minima. So this is a noisy data. So now our task is to reduce this noise. So that we can do with the help of stochastic gradient descent with momentum. This concept I'll cover in my next video. So if you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and I'll be updating more videos to give you more information. Thank you.